Hi guys, my name is Joe and welcome to Fighting Words, the martial arts library. And today I'm going to give you an update on my new additions to the library. So let's kick this off. First is A Scientific Approach to Reality-Based Training by Terry N. Woolard, PhD, and Jeff Quayle, MSc, which I assume doesn't stand for miscellaneous. I actually heard an interview with Mr. Quayle on the Managing Violence podcast, which is a podcast I would recommend to anyone who is interested in real world self defense. I'm hoping that this will shed some light on training methods and ways to basically improve training for operating under stress. That seemed to be what he was talking about the most in his interview. The Rise and Evolution of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This is from Robert Drysdale. Mr. Drysdale already has one book on the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Opening Closed Guard. Still need to read that. Again, I learned of this book through an interview he did with Stephan Kesting, who's a grappling instructor who also has a podcast called The Strenuous Life. Again, if you're into martial arts and self-defense, it's a good podcast to listen to. Mr. Drysdale in this book seems to be focusing, from what he said in the interview, on how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu went from simply a variation of judo to something that was more focused on like no-holds-barred challenge matches and coming up with strategy and training specifically for that. So I'm curious to get into it. Apparently Carlson Gracie seemed to play a pretty big role in that. Newaza, Revealing the Secrets of Kosen Judo Grappling Techniques, by 4 different authors. So you'll excuse me if I don't rattle them all off. This was actually suggested to me. A gentleman contacted me through my Instagram account. He was like, hey, can you review this? And I'm like, hey, go to my Ko-fi account and make a donation, and I will. He has yet to do that. So I don't know when I'm going to get around to actually doing a proper review of this, but I didn't even know it existed until that. So I looked it up. There are only 4 left on Amazon. This seems to be a translation of a book that was originally written in judo. I got a copyright here of 2014. And also I have, it's for 2,500 yen. This seems to cover, of course, a lot of ground grappling techniques. For those who are unfamiliar, Kosen Judo was a method of judo used in, I think it was like a series of high schools. If you start looking this up on YouTube, there's a judo specialist by the name of Chadi, Chadi, who covers a lot of the history of judo and traditional jiu-jitsu and does some comparing and contrasting. So he's done some good videos on the history of Kosen Judo. But yeah, it was basically used by a set of high schools. It's still used by some of them. And what differentiates it from like Olympic style judo is that you can drag the guy to the ground, among other things. So, instead of necessarily getting a throw, you can go, no, we're going to start on the ground. I'm going to make the ground happen, and then we're going to work from there. So I'm interested in seeing this, in addition to, a number of pinning and choking and locking maneuvers. It also, at the back, Chapter 12, Towards Future Study. Towards Future Study. Hope you guys can see that. It highlights how different Kosen Judo athletes are developing some aspects. For example, leg pinning, or the Jujijime, strangle with the lapel, or joint techniques from a supine position. So I think that's a nice touch. Is it gives the general gist of it, and then it's like, But these guys are specialists and they're working towards other stuff. You should check that out too. So I like that aspect of it. Essential Capoeira, a guide to mastering the art by Mestre Poncianinho. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I don't speak Portuguese. I like this already. It's got colored pictures. The sequences are numbered, which is going to make it easy to follow. For those who are unfamiliar, capoeira is typically a sort of dance fight game thing. You know, there's so many aspects to it. But there are typically songs or chants that go along with the events. So as two people are in the ring, the roda, you know, everyone around it is, you know, you got people playing instruments, but again, there's a lot of like singing and chanting. But yeah, this covers a lot of different aspects of capoeira, from the history of it, you know, various training methods, of course, the techniques. So I think that's going to be interesting. So I touched on it a little bit, how someone reached out to me like, you know, hey, can you review this book? And my response was, please donate. If you give me a donation, I will prioritize reviewing your book. And this has sort of been my policy for several months now. You know, the thing is, this is a one-man show, and this is something I do on the side. So, when I take my time to work on, you know, my videos and my editing and, you know, reading and researching and all of that, I usually have specific things I want to do, usually a month or two in advance. If somebody wants me to sort of put all that stuff on hold in order to review something that they want to do, then they can send me a donation through my Ko-fi account. I want to know that we are on the same team, that I am providing a service that you guys find desirable, you know, and that's one way to show it. That's all I have for now. I'm going to put this out on a Tuesday, make it one of my shorter Tuesday videos. But yeah, stay tuned for a long form video coming out on Friday. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.